Your cholesterol is normal, but that's only half the story. The normal range was built for a population that's already sick. Your lab calls anything under 100 optimal, but the level that actually keeps high-risk hearts safe is under 70. And your report will never tell you which number is yours. In the next 10 minutes, the three numbers that actually predict your heart attack, why your doctor only ordered one of them, and what to ask for at your next appointment. The LDL number on your report usually isn't measured. It's calculated from a formula published by William Friedewald in 1972. It estimates your LDL from your total cholesterol, your HDL, and your triglyceride. For most people, it's close enough, but it's an estimate, and it was never designed to tell you your actual cardiovascular risk. It was designed to be cheap and fast. The first number is ApoB, short for apolipoprotein B. Every atherogenic particle in your blood carries exactly one ApoB protein. So when you count ApoB, you're measuring how many particles are floating around. And it's the particles that cause disease, not the cholesterol that they carry. Two people can have the same LDL cholesterol, however wildly different particle counts. One person has a few large, fluffy particles carrying a lot of cholesterol each. The other person has small, dense particles with less cholesterol each, but more of them, and more chance to deposit in the artery wall. Same LDL on the report, but very different risk percentage. This fact isn't new. The AMORIS, INTERHEART, and Mendelian randomization work of the last decade consistently show that ApoB predicts even better than LDL cholesterol. The European Society of Cardiology now recommends ApoB as a preferred risk marker, especially in metabolic syndrome and diabetes. The American guidelines are catching up. Most North American family doctors don't routinely order ApoB. You usually have to ask. The second number is lipoprotein A, or little a. It's an LDL-like particle with an extra protein attached to it, which makes it especially good at causing two things: atherosclerosis and blood clots, a double threat. Now, what makes it different from every other lipid number is that it's almost entirely genetic. Your level is set at birth, it barely changes over your life, and it isn't moved by diet, exercise, or statins. About 1 in 5 people have elevated lipoprotein A, and most don't know. Elevated lipoprotein A roughly doubles your lifetime cardiovascular risk. It's independent. It adds risk on top of whatever your LDL and ApoB are doing, and is one of the strongest single genetic risk factors we know of for early heart attacks. Here's the part that should really click. Lipoprotein A only needs to be measured once in your lifetime. One blood draw. It costs about as much as any other cholesterol test, and it's almost never ordered. The 2018 American guidelines recommend testing in select patients. The 2022 European consensus recommends testing in every adult, at least once. Most family doctors in North America have never ordered one. If anyone in your immediate family had a heart attack before 55, if male, or 65 if female, you should have your lipoprotein A measured once ever. What you just saw was the process of atherosclerosis and the consequential inflammation that follows it. Now, obviously, there won't be smoke in your body. However, it is a proper illustration to show the gravity of the situation, which brings us to our third number, the high sensitivity C-reactive protein, or hs-CRP. CRP is an inflammation marker. The high sensitivity version is calibrated to detect the low-grade chronic inflammation involved in cardiovascular disease, such as atherosclerosis, not the acute level CRP your doctor orders when you're sick. Here's the reframe. Atherosclerosis isn't just a plumbing problem. It's an inflammatory disease. The cholesterol particles are the substrate, but the actual damage, plaque formation, rupture, heart attack, are driven by inflammation in the artery wall. The Jupiter trial, which was published in 2008, took people with normal LDL but elevated hs-CRP and gave them a statin. It cut cardiovascular events nearly in half. The signal was so strong that the trial was stopped early. What that established is that you can have a normal cholesterol panel and still be at substantial risk if your inflammation is elevated. And you wouldn't know it because nobody measured it. hs-CRP is cheap, widely available, and recommended by the guidelines for risk stratification in intermediate risk patients. And it's almost never run as part of a standard physical. So let's recap. ApoB tells you how many atherogenic particles you actually have, instead of how much cholesterol they're carrying. It's a better predictor than LDL. Most doctors don't order it. Lipoprotein A tells you whether you have a genetic risk factor that doubles your risk for life. It only needs to be measured once. Most doctors don't order it. hs-CRP tells you whether the inflammatory engine of atherosclerosis is running in your arteries. It's cheap, available, and in the guidelines. Most doctors don't order it. Your standard physical measures one of these, sometimes. The other two, almost never. Now, this isn't a conspiracy, and it's not malpractice. It's the structure of a system that runs on guidelines that lag the literature. 15-minute appointments that don't allow for nuance, and reimbursement codes that don't reward prevention. Your family doctor is doing what they were trained to do in the time that they have with the tools the system gave them. But you don't have to accept that as the ceiling. At your next appointment, ask for an ApoB. Ask for a lipoprotein A once. Ask for an hs-CRP. If your doctor pushes back, ask them why. The answer might be reasonable. They might judge your risk doesn't warrant it. Or they might just not be in the habit. Either way, you'll have a better conversation than the one you'd have had otherwise.